Oh, hello, peoples. This is Good Nature Kitty. Hold on one sec. I gotta turn this down. Terrible, terrible. Okay, so noisy. All right. Okay, let's try this again. Hello, peoples. This is Good Nature Kitty here, and today I am playing Stardew Valley. The reason I chose to play Stardew Valley today is because I kind of want to feel like talking today about some things that I've been thinking about. Just kind of based on something that's happened recently on what it means to me. So, as many of you, I'm sure, know, Chester from Lincoln Park has passed away. He ended up committing suicide. When I found out, it was actually on Thursday that I learned about it, and it actually did cry about it quite a bit because, well, I don't cry too often when famous people die and everything, but with him it was kind of different for me because his music, like music from that they sing, it does touch me quite a bit, so it was definitely really difficult learning about it. A lot of why their music means so much to me is because I actually suffer from depression. I have off and on throughout my life. Since I could remember, actually. I remember when I was about 6 years old for the first, like, I don't know if it's for the first time, but I can remember my first memory of the time that I had felt so low, so depressed that I didn't really want to move. I was like, and I was saying I was 6 years old when that happened. I was on my way home from school and I just all of a sudden just sat down in the snow and I didn't want to go anywhere. So yeah, and to kind of explain a little bit about what I go through, I understand that a lot of people think that when you mention depression, it's just a matter of feeling just really sad, or, and people like talk about, oh, I felt so depressed today and all that stuff, but it's definitely different when you go through it firsthand. It's nothing like what people think it is. It's kind of like, it's like you lose your vitality, sort of. You lose your motivation. You don't want to do anything. You just want to lay there. You can begin to feel like the whole, like, everything that had given you hope just doesn't give you hope anymore. Like, well, which is kind of funny because one of the keys to trying to overcome depression is to find hope in life, which you kind of can, I guess, but it's just a little more difficult. Like, everything just feels just very blonde, very black, and you can feel really lonely too. Like, just you can be in a full crowd of people who love you and feel like you're just kind of all alone. And one thing that I found that really helps is when I'm feeling depressed. Oh, I should sell something. Or when I plant that other parsnip, I didn't notice that. Did I have that before? Anyway, one thing that helps me when I'm feeling depressed is music. It's like one of the best things in the world to kind of not just pull me out of what I'm feeling, but to make me feel like I'm not alone. Because one thing that often happens when I'm feeling depressed is I feel like no one would understand where I'm coming from. No one would get what's going on with me. But when you, with songs, like, you know, a lot of artists have this way of just kind of expressing these feelings that, you know, through like just the way they sing, and it's amazing just by the tone of their voice, not even just the words, but just by the way they sing, how they can just make you feel this connection to them. And it kind of, you know, listening to some of the music that I listen to when I'm depressed, because, you know, when I'm feeling low and I feel desperate to like pull out, I just feel like I'm becoming numb. I kind of try to cling to whatever like comes to my mind, and it can be hard to think clearly, so I'll just like, I'll kind of like go with whatever band first comes to mind. One of the first bands that do come to mind is Linkin Park, and it's amazing because like I'll like start up the song and it's almost like they're right there saying, you know, we've been there, we understand where you're coming from, and it's such an incredible feeling knowing that there's other people who's been through it, you know, with all the different bands that I pull to, well, you know, I'd say there's about 3 or 4 of them that I most likely listen to during those times. 3 or 4 that come to mind most often. And you know, Chester's voice was incredible. Like, you can just feel the emotion, the way he would sing, the way he just spelt out everything. And yeah, Thursday when I first learned about what had happened, after looking into it for a little bit, first thing I had to bring myself to do was I just started listening through his songs, and, you know, their songs, Linkin Park, and just started bawling. It kind of makes me wonder, just, I don't know, what's it gonna, you know, what it'll be like from here on, just when I feel like really down, really low, and when I want to turn to music, is it gonna feel different listening to their songs, knowing what had happened? Because, you know, just feeling that unity, it's important to know that you're not alone when you're feeling depressed. And that's, you know, that's for one why music's so great. It's also why, you know, things like support groups can be so wonderful too. I highly recommend support groups for people who are feeling depressed. If you hear of any support groups in your area for like mental illness, I recommend trying it out. If you get the opportunity, definitely. It's even better than just seeing a therapist, because you're talking with people who's been there and they're feeling the same things, and it'll shock you how they can convey some of the same things that you've been feeling. And sometimes they'll put it in words that you've never even thought of using to describe what you're feeling. If I recall right, it doesn't take any energy destroying grass, right? So I want to get more seeds for sure. Anyway, so yeah, that's kind of a basic idea of what Lincoln Park means to me, though. Just, you know, it's kind of like they, in a sense, they're kind of there when I need them to be, and you know, just kind of a, I don't know. And I've never met the band before, never been to any of their concerts or anything, so it's just, it kind of feels like they're there for me when I'm feeling low. But anyway, I do thank you guys for listening. I apologize if this feels like an uncomfortable conversation or anything. I can tell you it's definitely difficult to talk about, just opening up about these things, because I know that a lot of times people think of mental illness as being weak, and a lot of people also, I don't know, they just, you tell them that you have a mental illness and they don't want anything to do with you for one reason or another. And in a way they're kind of missing out, because I've met a lot of people with different mental illnesses, and they can be such compassionate and such unique people, and they can be a blast to talk to even. I've talked to people with everything from schizophrenia to bipolar disorder and PTSD, which PTSD is another thing that I kind of suffer from as well. But they're definitely a unique bunch, like all with their different personalities, and they're really not as scary as a lot of people think they are. They can be, I suppose, like when they're not medicated and when they don't think that what's going on is an issue, or just, but they can be such wonderful people too. My nephew, for example, he has bipolar disorder, and he's a wonderful kid, just very compassionate and sweet, and just wonderful to be around. Probably one of the most compassionate kids you'd come across. I love him to death, honestly. But anyway, just kind of wanted to put that out there, and I thought this would be a good game to do that on, because, with nice thing about Stardew Valley is it doesn't take a lot of thought, what you're doing and everything. You can kind of go along, and it's relaxing. It's a good game to reflect on and everything. And so, yeah, I may play this every so often. Each time that I play it, I'm gonna just kind of use it as a way to reflect and talk to you guys about things. I will engage in some of the gameplay, of course, and look over the storylines and concentrate on some of the more important things that are being said. But for the most part, this is going to be a game where I can just kind of talk things out when something's deep on my mind. And I do thank you guys so much for listening. If you liked watching me play Stardew Valley or enjoyed any of my other videos, do feel free to subscribe, or just click the like button. And if you have anything that you want to reflect on as well, maybe about what I was talking about, you can even talk about maybe what Chester meant to you, what the music means to you. Just go ahead and put it in the comments. And I'll thank you guys once again, and goodbye.